Live from KSAT 12, the news at 5:30 starts right now.
We begin with a fire at a senior living facility on the city's north side, forcing evacuations earlier today. The large scene much calmer now.
Our Lee Wallman is live for us there this evening. Lee, have fire crews been able to figure out what caused that fire yet?
They did. They said the fire all started in the pool heater. It sparked just before 12:30 off of Loop 1604 and Sonterra Place. Now, when SAFD got on scene, there was smoke throughout the facility, and staff here already started evacuating residents. The fire itself stayed mostly contained inside of a vent in the pool area. That kept the fire damage minimal. There is damage from smoke and water throughout. You can see for yourself the response was large, but that's because of the size of this facility. SAFD upgraded this to a second alarm fire just to get additional personnel on scene. Luckily, no injuries are reported.
Doesn't appear anyone's going to be transported though, so very fortunate there that we were able, the staff did an excellent job of getting everyone out safely and orderly on time to prevent any potential future injuries from that.
Now, a few of the people living here will be moved to different rooms because of some of that smoke and water damage, but the staff tells us there is places to put them. Live on the north side, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Lee. Tonight, the death of a San Antonio broadcast legend. We got word today that Gary DeLon has died. Gary's career included the first reporting of the assassination of JFK in 50 years of covering news and sports here in San Antonio.
After he retired from local television, Gary continued covering the high school sports he loved. Greg Simmons will have more on his death tonight on the Night Beat. An alumni from Taft High School has died after a shooting at a Kansas bar. This happened just before 2 o'clock yesterday morning. Police say 2 military servicemen were arguing before the shooting. 3 officers heard gunfire and found 21-year-old Joshua Wardy had been shot. The suspect tried to run from the scene but was caught. Fort Riley confirmed that both the victim and the suspect were soldiers stationed there. Wardy died at the scene.
Back here at home, we now know the name of a father who
Was fatally shot
Friday night after dropping off his child. Bear County medical examiners have identified him as 20-year-old Lazar Brown Dunnigan. The shooting happening on the city's south side near South
Flores and East Sayers Avenue.
Police say the
Suspect is the mother's new boyfriend. It happened after the 2 men got into an argument. At last check, so far no arrests had been made, and that suspect's still on the run.
Meanwhile, a west side street corner becoming a crime scene overnight when some women who were told to leave a party decided they weren't going quietly.
Yeah, police told our Jonathan Cotto their night ended with gunfire, a crash, and a car slammed against a tree.
Police say 4 women were kicked out of a house party. SAPD say the women were not happy about the situation, getting in a car and popping off several shots. Police responding to the scene just before 1 a.m. After firing several shots, the women didn't really have to drive so far. The house party just across the street. After they quickly sped off, they were T-boned right here on West Salinas and North Colorado on the city's west side, uprooting a stop sign and going head on with that tree.
I heard about 4 gun pops, and then after that, we heard a loud wreckage.
Plasencia says his family has lived on the street their entire lives, and last night's crash, not the first.
No, it's not actually, about 3 more times, twice last year, and then this is the first one of the year.
The homeowners impacted by the crash say it's the life-saving tree that's kept their home safe time after time. Plasencia says part of the problem out in this part of town, the speeding.
Well, it's never good when it happens, but when it does happen, it's usually late at night, around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, once people are, feeling pretty good for the night and just taking it down here 50 miles per hour. And on this street, they always catch somebody coming across the street right here.
He says the solution to these types of incidents is quite simple.
More SAPD, that's one thing I can tell you right now is that on the street, on Saturday, Friday nights, there's not really that much SAPD. And you got the police department right there, so you think they'd be coming down here, once every hour.
Out of the 4 women, only the driver was taken to the hospital for minor injuries, and the 2 people inside the SUV were okay. The 4 women were taken into custody and are pending multiple charges. Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Apologize for the microphone issues we're having. We're trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, it has been nearly 6 weeks since Lena Kill's disappearance. Volunteers and search crews continuing to look for the missing 3-year-old.
Today's search was at OP Schnabel Park on Bandera Road. Lena Kill was last seen at her parents' apartment on December 20th. She was wearing a red dress brocaded with green and gold threads on the front and on the bottom of the sleeves. Many people came out to help in today's search, calling the situation heartbreaking and saying they want to help.
It breaks my heart. I have 4 kids of my own. I have 9 grandkids, and it breaks my heart. I can't imagine what the family's going through.
The Islamic Center of San Antonio offering a reward of $100,000 for information that leads to her discovery. Anyone with information asked to call SAPD. Their number 210-207-7660. Coming up tonight on the Night Beat, first threatening text, now allegations of explicit photos. A twice-fired San Antonio police officer trying to win his job back again. While we wait on a decision of his appeal, KSAT talked with the officer's ex-wife, who was at the heart of the first case against him. She tells us why she believes the alleged victim at the center of this latest complaint and why she thinks this time the punishment needs to stick.
Still ahead on the news at 5:30, Winter Olympics in full swing. Coming up after the break, we'll show you the latest Queen of the Skies and what move won her the golden medal. The Olympics and Winter Games in Beijing starting to pick up a little steam. The medals trickling in. Team USA with its first medal of the Games. ABC's Christine Sloan is keeping tabs on them from New York.
The U.S. women's hockey team, the defending Olympic champions, remain undefeated in the preliminary round after back-to-back shutouts. The team set to take on rival Canada after a decisive 8-0 shutout over Switzerland. And snowboarder Julia Marino earning Team USA its first medal of the 2022 Winter Olympics, taking home the silver in the women's snowboard slopestyle competition. But a disappointing outcome for Jamie Anderson. After winning back-to-back golds at the last 2 Olympics, she fell in the final run on her first jump, finishing in 9th place. On the slopes, Jalen Koff won the silver medal at the women's moguls, giving the U.S. its second medal of the Beijing Games. And the men's downhill race is set to get underway after being postponed due to high winds. On the ice, disappointing performances from Karen Chen and Vincent Zhao. Both 2-time Olympians landed Team USA in 2nd place behind the Russian Olympic Committee in the team event. The hopes of USA winning gold hang on the upcoming free dance, pairs free skate, and the women's free skate. And Elena Myers-Taylor is out of isolation after 2 negative COVID tests. She's able to start training right away.
I'm excited to get out there and just get my body back together and get ready for these races.
Her first event will be the first ever women's monobob on the 13th. Alex Perche, ABC News, Beijing.
Well, it's hard to believe that this time 3 days ago, we were overcast. The ice had just come to an end and temperatures were below freezing across the whole area. This is a beautiful picture on live cam when you think about where we were at a few days ago. 60 at the airport now. High temperatures today made it into the 60s after the 50s yesterday. Warming trend will steadily continue over the next few days. And overall, we've got a quiet forecast this week. I'll get you ready for the week ahead coming up in a few minutes. But first, the aquifer today is up half a foot to 665.1. We always like to see that. I always like to see this as well. Low counts of both mountain cedar and mold as we wrap up the weekend. We'll be right back.
I'm afraid to talk. You talk.
You sound
Might be
good.
all scratchy.
You sound good.
I think we fixed it.
I think we did too. And it's not because of the wind. It feels so good outside after all that we've been through this week. I mean, it really is a good turn.
Yes, we had a reward this weekend for all that wintry weather mess just a few days ago. And I've got good news. Fresh out of the oven, friends, a hot batch of non-problematic weather for you this week. This time last weekend, I was like, I need more time to talk about all the stuff we've got going on. Not necessary this week. We've got some really quiet, comfortable days ahead. Here are your afternoon highs, still in the upper 50s tomorrow, but then by the end of the week, we'll be back closer to 70. The kicker, though, is that our mornings are still going to be on the cold side. So your big key to success this week will be dressing in a couple of layers each day. You'll want a light jacket or a light sweater in the mornings. We'll start you off morning lows in the 30s and 40s, but each day, thanks to sunshine, our afternoon highs will jump into the 60s and 70s. So layers are your friend this week as we get a new week started. Today was a perfect example of that. Look at our morning low, 26, 5 degrees above the record low for the state, which was 21 set back in 1982, but we made it up to 60 at the airport, and we'll continue to see those kind of big swings in temperatures from morning to afternoon because of sunshine and because of dry air that will be hanging around. So again, layers are your friend this week. Satellite and radar, we've got no precipitation out there, but I want to point out, and this may be just slightly difficult to see as we lose our visible satellite picture, but off closer to the Houston area, down along the coast from Victoria to Beeville and down to Corpus Christi, there has been some cloud cover that has moved in from the south today, but we've got clear skies from Pleasanton up to San Antonio. I think our only friends that are under some cloud cover now would be Hallettsville in Lavaca County, Cuero in DeWitt County, and then down closer to Goliad and Beeville. So we do have some clouds there, but they're well to the south and east of San Antonio. Now, later tonight and through the overnight hours, we're going to see increasing clouds mainly along and south of Highway 90. So we will pull in an increase in clouds mainly south of San Antonio later on tonight. So by tomorrow morning, partly cloudy along Highway 90 and then point south, even mostly cloudy for places like Cotulla and Beeville. Notice though, if you're up in the hill country, you won't have as much cloud cover move in. So I do anticipate another freeze, even a hard freeze briefly for parts of the hill country overnight. Everyone else though, from Del Rio all the way through Hondo to San Antonio, Gonzales, even New Braunfels point south, with that increase in cloud cover overnight, it won't get quite as cold. Now, we still drop into the 30s, but a freeze overnight won't be as widespread as it has been for the past several nights. And really, I only anticipate a freeze for the hill country. Any cloud cover will clear out by tomorrow afternoon. So we'll start off partly to mostly cloudy in the morning. By tomorrow afternoon, we're mostly sunny, and that'll help our temperatures to rebound into the 60s, low 60s in many spots, upper 50s here in San Antonio up to New Braunfels. Look for a high around 64 in Del Rio and a high around 62 in Cotulla. We'll also have a decent breeze around tomorrow, north winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. I mentioned we've got quiet weather ahead this week. Yeah, other than that brief batch of clouds moving in early tomorrow, that'll be about it all the way through the end of the work week. That is good news though for the start of the rodeo coming up on Thursday, opening day. If you've got plans to head out to the rodeo on Thursday, thankfully the weather is going to be really nice, mostly clear. We'll be closer to 70 as we get into Thursday afternoon, but Thursday evening, with clear skies, light winds, dry air, temperatures will be falling into the 50s. Now, while it's nice that we've got a pleasant stretch of weather this week, I have to mention that the only thing that would make it better is if we could maybe have a few rain chances sprinkled in here or there, because the drought situation is not good. We've got widespread severe drought west of 35 and even a batch of extreme drought through parts of LaSalle, Dimmitt and McMullen County. So we do need some rain across the area. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we've got any in the next 7 days, maybe the next 10 to 14 days. So a dry stretch of weather this week. Hopefully we'll get some much needed rain here in the next few weeks. Now look at your day tomorrow. Start you off upper 30s above freezing tomorrow morning for San Antonio. High just shy of 60 with plenty of sunshine. And yeah, it'll be a quiet weather week. Hopefully everyone gets a chance to kind of recoup and enjoy the sunshine this week, guys.
Above freezing. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katie.
All right, Larry, we have a new boxing champ here in San Antonio.
Yeah, the boxing champions from here in town are growing. It grew by 1 last night as Jesse Bam Rodriguez stepped up in weight class, and it did not stop him from becoming our newest boxing champion. Plus, in basketball, Doug McDermott thinks it's pretty darn cool that Pop is closing in on a huge record coming up.
Here's now the new WBC Super Flyweight World Champion and still undefeated, Jesse Bam Rodriguez!
210 Bam is San Antonio's latest boxing champion, and he's currently the youngest world champ in boxing today in big board sports. 22-year-old Jesse Bam Rodriguez jumped up 2 weight classes on short notice this week, and it didn't make a difference. He scored a unanimous decision against Carlos Cuadras last night at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. The scores were 117-110, 117-110, and 115-112. Bam to win the vacant WBC Super Flyweight title. Cuadras won the first 2 rounds. Many observers say. Then in round 3, Bam changed the tide when he knocked the more experienced fighter to the mat. After that, Bam controlled the action to win a championship belt in his first ever title fight. Now this afternoon, we caught up at 210 Bam at San Antonio International Airport with his new title belt in hand.
It still hasn't hit me, it still feels like a dream, honestly. Not only that, but it's crazy, man. It's so surreal. Just thank you to everyone, all my fans, all my supporters. Like I said, this one's for all of us. We all won.
Bam, who's now 15-0 with 10 knockouts, took pictures and signed some autographs at the airport. He joins his brother Joshua Franco as a super flyweight world champion. Josh holds the WBA version. We'll have much more with 210 Bam tonight on Instant Replay. San Antonio boxer Mario Barrios made his welterweight debut against Keith Thurman last night in Las Vegas. And the bout went the distance. Fighting for the first time in 31 months, Thurman won via unanimous decision, 118-110, 118-110, and 117-111. Barrios said he was happy with the outcome. He didn't get the win, but he gave the fans a good fight. That he did. Barrios is 26-2 with 17 KOs, and he will be back. With 4 days off, the Spurs must feel like they're on a vacation. They played Friday night at home and destroyed the Rockets 131-106, and they won't play again until Wednesday night when they tip off the rodeo road trip. This is a great time for them to recover and the practice, which they haven't done a lot this season due to a demanding schedule. The Spurs took yesterday off and then practiced today and will do so again tomorrow. On Friday night, Greg Popovich became the first coach in NBA history to reach 1,500 career wins. That mark includes both regular and postseason victories. Pop would likely say, it's no big deal. But Doug McDermott thinks all of his wins are pretty cool.
That's crazy. It's just, it's still sometimes, it still feels surreal sometimes playing for such a legendary coach, and I think a lot of the guys feel the same way. He's just such an iconic guy, and he's done so much for the game, and it means a lot. We want to keep these wins coming for him, but that's a long time to be coaching, and we're all extremely happy for him, obviously.
Pop has 1,330 career regular season wins. He's 3 wins away from passing Lenny Wilkins for second most all time and 6 away from taking over the top spot held by Don Nelson. Spurs will play at the Cleveland Cavaliers Monday night at 6 as they tip off the 8-game rodeo road trip.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Take you to Las Vegas for the NFL Pro Bowl, which is much more like a glorified practice at less than 100% speed, that's for sure. Second quarter, Steelers' TJ Watt gets to quarterback Kirk Cousins. Ball's in the air, goes to Myles Garrett, who races in for a 22-yard touchdown. It's ruled a fumble recovery for the Aggie great. Third quarter, AFC ball, Najee Harris flips it to Stephon Diggs. He's looking to pass, and he turns inside and scores a 4-yard touchdown. During that play, he pointed and then ran by his brother and Cowboys safety Trayvon Diggs. AFC led 41-21, and they win 41-35. In high school hoops, the O'Connor boys picked up a huge win against Brendan in District 29 6A last night, 71-63 in overtime. Junior point guard Jalen Munoz led the way with a game-high 27 points. The Panthers have had a much tougher season this year. They went 8-0 in 2021 and cruised through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. This year, they're 10-4 in district play, and 3 of those 4 losses were decided by a combined 11 points. So picking up a win over a team like 11-2 Brennan is huge as they prepare for another playoff run.
Last year we made it all the way to the 4th round in the playoffs, and we had a very good team, very good guys and all that. And then after, we lost a lot of seniors, and many people were just doubting us, thinking that we weren't going to be as good as we were last year. But I think we're surprising everybody, especially with the win like this. We're shocking everybody right now.
The Panthers are back in action this Wednesday night against Stevens. Tip-off at Paul Taylor Fieldhouse is set for 7:30 p.m. Yesterday afternoon, the Clemens girls basketball team defeated Steele in overtime in a critical District 27 6A battle. The Knights were paced by senior Sydney Love, who scored a game-high 30 points. But the Buffaloes countered with 25 from Destiny Boone and 18 from Asia Proctor. And with the game tied at 61 in overtime, it was Iduzaye Igehan putting it up and in at the buzzer to clinch the win. The Buffaloes are 9-4 and will finish the regular season at Wagner on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And just to clarify, the Spurs start the rodeo road trip on Wednesday. I think I said Monday. It said Wednesday on the screen. I just can't read. It's Wednesday.
Nope, that's all right. You nailed that last name. You went through that like a knife through hot butter,
right, I got that right.
Good job.
We'll be right back.
Katie said she already told us all the ways it was going to be nice this week, and I don't know what the aquifer well level is, but we probably need more rain. That's all of our time for now. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you back here tonight on the Night Beat. See you at 10.